Okay, I think Martin, we can start right now. And like whoever wants to join definitely will be joining during the session. Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us today and welcome to our Zoom session. Today our Zoom session is quite interesting and exciting with our special guest, Martin Slangestad. I hope I'm saying it right, Slangestad.
Close, Slingstad.
Slingestad.
No, it's all good.
So today our topic will be growing up with autism. The Zoom session will be recorded and we will be welcoming all your questions during the session via chat. So Martin is an autistic self-advocate. Martin is also the author of Chatterbox book. That's his book, Chatterbox. My Life with Autism, Mother and Son Perspective. Martin created many videos and powerful speech to help spread more awareness and acceptance about autism. Martin also loves to play soccer and he loves to DJ in his free time. And he's been advocating for a while now for all the autistics. So, hi, Martin. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm really glad we finally made this happen.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I thank you for setting this up. I'm honestly really excited, a little nervous, but you know, it's one step forward into my goal.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin, for being here. And hopefully today's session will be very insightful and helpful to all the parents or the professionals with us today. I honestly think that this is somehow, I told you before, it's kind of a breakthrough for us as a community here, because we always hear perspectives and viewpoints from the professional side or from parent side, but we really need to hear the perspective from the autistics side, right? So this is honestly, for me at least, it's like a breakthrough because we are trying to understand more from your perspective, from your viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So Martin, you have co-written your autobiography with your mother.
Yep.
This is really interesting. I mean, there's two viewpoints in your book, Chatterbox. There's the mother and the son. So please, can you tell us more about your book and where we can find it?
Yeah, so I'll start off with the reason why I wrote this book and why my mom wanted to as well. We decided to create this book back in high school. It did take a few years because there's a lot of self-doubt, like, you know, maybe nobody would care to read it. The main reason why we did this is because there's really not a book out where you get both a mother's perspective and someone like my perspective. And it's also, I could say one thing that's kind of in my head or what I'm thinking, but it could be different from my mom's perspective. That's more true. And there was a lot of difficulty writing it. And an interesting fact is we never shared what we were writing until the book was released.
Oh, okay. So you were, Martin, you were not sharing any drafts with your mother while writing the book? Nothing. Correct. It was wow. This is really a big thing. Like, I mean, you were co-writing the book, but you never shared any drafts. Oh my God. Wow. So, but I mean, it was a surprise, like when you read your mother's side and she read her son's side. So it's like, how did it happen? I mean, it's interesting. I'd love to know more about it.
Yeah. I will admit, I'm kind of a harsh critic of myself. And so I really haven't read the book, but with what my mom read, she kind of understood everything that, you know, I was going through growing up. And yeah, I'm still trying to fight the fear of reading anything that I do. And so I really don't know from my mother's side, but you know, it was writing about it was a great release,
Yeah.
kind of like a big exhale. And
Wow.
one thing that I like about writing is I can share whatever I want that's coming through my thoughts, you know. And I decided, you know, with the quarantine that we had to deal with, I was like, you know what? I feel now is the time to share me and my mom's stories,
Yeah.
to help those who really like either don't understand it, or for parents who have children that are newly diagnosed.
It's amazing, Martin. Martin, you know, I've obviously read the book, and I know that this is not the typical autism book. It's divided by subject, and there's, you know, your mom's perspective and then the son's perspective. So it's really interesting because I think all the readers, whether autistic reader or non-autistic readers, they can all relate. Like, I mean, mothers, especially mothers, they can totally relate. And we usually, all the autism books available, they're always from either autistic point of view or professional point of view, but we don't have much like the mother and son perspective. So this is really, it's a good thing. And now that I know that you have never shared any drafts with your mother, like, it's a surprise for me, honestly. It's like, I thought that you were co-writing it, like you were definitely sharing drafts during the procedure. So this is really interesting, because when I read the book, honestly, like, I felt like it's so well written. So like, I wouldn't even imagine that there was no drafts or no coordination while writing the book. So so this is a good thing. Where can we find your book, Martin? Like, I mean, I have it, but many moms here, I'm sure they don't have it. Where can we find your book?
You can find it on Amazon. It is a little difficult to find. So what I can do is near the end, I could put the link in the chat.
Yeah, please. If you can do that, that would be great. I found it on Amazon, but not the Amazon UAE. Yeah, Amazon US.
Okay, so that'll probably, it'll probably be best to do it on your end then. But one more thing about the book. The only thing we co-wrote was the different chapters. We kind of came up with the most important topics to talk about, from the early years to anxiety and school and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the topics, of course, you were like, you decided both on the topics, but yeah, it's really interesting, Martin. So Martin, in your book, you say autism is not a sentence. Autism is a story. And honestly, I fell in love with this sentence, because I do believe that autism is a story. So can you tell us, please, about your story, your journey with autism? You know, we all know here, we're all parents of autistic kids or professionals, and we all know that autism comes with a set of challenges and struggles, whether physical or mental. So what were the main challenges you faced, and how did you cope with them during childhood or adulthood?
Right. The biggest challenges I faced were, of course, anxiety. School was difficult because autism really isn't understood in the school setting. And so, but I overcame those challenges. And one thing that I did is, like, if, let's just say, you know, I mean, I still get bullied to this day a little bit, but what I do is, instead of fighting back, I use that negativity to push me to where I am today. Kind of use that negative and turn it into a positive. And it's definitely been very, very helpful. I mean, it is difficult, of course, but I just, you know, growing up, I will admit, at first, I didn't understand it. I was really confused, and I actually was nonverbal until 3.5. But as I grew older and as I started doing this self-advocacy, I became more aware, and I was like, you know what, this is who I am. So let's just roll with it.
Martin, this is really remarkable. I mean, for the moms here, like they're hearing us, especially for the moms, because there's a lot of, many of our autistic kids are nonverbal. So this gives us a glimpse of hope. Like you were nonverbal till 4, you say, or 3.5, and then now you are like, you have multiple languages, you're learning multiple languages, and you're self-advocating. But also we need to mention, maybe also for the moms, that even for many of the self-advocates, right, autistic self-advocates are nonverbal, right? I mean, you know better in the community. So it's not only about verbal self-advocates, there are many nonverbal self-advocates out there, right, in the community.
Correct.
So basically, Martin, the anxiety is the main struggle, your main struggle. And I can totally relate, because honestly, with my daughter, it's the same thing right now. I think the more that they're growing older, the more that the anxiety is hitting harder. So, so anxiety was your main challenge, and you struggle a lot with anxiety, especially at school. You were bullied. But can you just give us some tips, like for the younger, for the young autistics right now, for our kids, like how to help them, or how they can help themselves, coping with this anxiety or bullying?
Right. So some things that have helped me and what could help others is I listen to my favorite music or classical music like Mozart or other things like that. And I also turn to coloring books. And the coloring books help me not only kind of get lost in the coloring, but it also calms me. I also have like incense that I have in my room that actually the scents help me relax. And so it's able to help me bring my anxiety levels down.
Okay, so basically with you, what worked is like the music and,
So
try,
I
because,
right.
so sorry, I had to interrupt, just go on, sorry.
Oh, no worries. I think for those who struggle with anxiety, they should try different things, like whatever they like to do, whether it be going on a hike or listening to music or anything coloring. Just have them try different things and see what really helps them the most. And then they could stick with that. So if there was a stressful day at work or school, then they could revert back to that, and then it could help calm them.
Okay. I have a question here, Martin, about your early years. Like, what do you think, what really helped you to talk? Like, what helped you talking,
Right. So
you had obvious difficulties in the speech, but then what helped you exactly? What, speech therapy or other forms of therapy?
Right. So I went to speech therapy. I think I was about 2 or 3, and it was with, I don't know if any of you have heard of her, but her name is Michelle Winner.
Yeah, of course.
So I was actually one of her
She's
first
like
students
well known.
she opened.
She's well known. I mean, Michelle Winner. Yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of her very first students, and she helped me say my very first words.
Okay, so speech therapy worked with you. Okay, and okay, so Martin, basically what I was, because I wanted to talk about also the chapter where that you already mentioned about your anxiety, but there's a whole chapter, a chatterbox about your anxieties at school, about the bullying, about many steps. And I think you had also some spine surgery, like you had to, there were a lot of problems going on during school years. I think if you will share this with us, we would love to hear this more, like about your spine surgery, because you also had the soccer. You had soccer as a special interest, right? You used to like playing soccer since early years. Correct. And I think the spine surgery didn't help. So can you please tell us more about this challenge as well?
Yeah. So it actually, this whole spine problem happened within just a year. I started developing scoliosis at the age of 12 or 13. I forget I forget what age, and within 1 year, my back went from a 12-degree angle to a 46-degree angle, which is the curvature. And as I was growing, it actually caused a spinal fracture. So I actually, before the surgery happened, while I was growing, my back was kind of twisting. And so I think the biggest challenge was dealing with the pain. That was the most difficult, and getting that transition back when I was able to walk again and doing everything else like school and stuff, that was a very big challenge. But something in my mind just told me, keep pushing, you can get through this. And my back is better today, but I still play soccer. My doc recently released me. And so even though I deal with pain here and there, it's kind of lifted my spirits up a bit, knowing that I'm able to play the sport that I have always loved.
Do you still feel the pain, Martin? Still you're having problems with the back, or still happens?
Yeah, so mostly in the lower back.
Okay.
Because it's actually not fused. It's only the middle part from the bottom of my neck to the middle of my spine. They kind of fused that, but the reason why they didn't do anything with the lower back is because for me to have mobility.
Yeah.
So I still deal with that pain a lot, but it's actually improved a lot. But some days it's unbearable. Some days it's like, it feels like it's not there.
Okay. You're a real warrior and an inspiration, Martin. Thank you for sharing this. Really, it's inspiring. And you just came from a soccer game. I know, maybe other moms don't know, Martin today was in a soccer game. He just came back. So you're really determined. And I want to tell you one thing, Martin, in Dubai, we don't call the special needs as special needs. We have a different term. We call them people of determination.
Okay.
So I think, because the government here wanted to make sure to change the term from special needs to people of determination in recognition of their participation to society. So, and I think it's really a very affirmative term, and a very, it's just reflect the acceptance and the love. So you are really determined. And I want to ask you though about one thing. Many autistics, they do have special interests, right? I'm not sure if all of them, we hear a lot of, I'm not sure if it's a stereotype or it's the fact that all autistics, they do have special interests. So what do you think about that? Was soccer your special interest, or music or DJing your special interest?
Yeah, no, that is true. It is. Each one has our own special interest. For some, it could take longer to figure out what that is. And,
I know for my daughter, zero special interest for now.
But no, it is true. And I've actually just taken up a new special interest, which is photography.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm actually working currently on a second book.
Wow. You're really busy, Martin. It's with a job, you have a full-time job, and you do the soccer, and now you're writing another book. Honestly, this is really inspiring. So you think maybe for our kids, they still have time to find or to figure out what's their special interest. I think many kids here, 5, 6, 7, they still are quite confused. They don't know what they like, but we don't know their special interest. Especially, for example, with my daughter, I don't know what's her special interest. She likes swimming, she likes drawing, but I don't think she has figured it out yet. I'm not sure. So they still have time. But you do agree, most of the autistic adults, or most of the autistics, they do have special interests.
Correct, they do, and I know, like with what I stated earlier, it could take a little bit longer to determine what their special interest is. And so, like for me, I would do one thing, I like it, but then like the next month it's something completely different. So, but yeah, it does. I do agree that we each have our special interest.
Uh-huh. Martin, regarding also growing up with autism, I have one question like about from a mom. Like,
Mhm.
do you think like, I mean, the mom is asking actually, can she expect in the future her son to be able to live independently, like to go to university, to have
Mhm.
work, like, you know, to live independently?
Right, right. Wow, that's a good question. Wow. Oh boy, how do I say this one?
Take your
I'm gonna
time.
do the I'm gonna do the best that I can to explain it. I know with, and this is what I've experienced with work. I know there are some that, hold on, I gotta say this the right way. I'm sorry about this. For some that are more, that have more difficulties with basic needs or whatever, they would need help with living skills and stuff. But that doesn't mean they wouldn't be able to socialize. They'll be able to socialize and they would be able to have a career, but for some that they would need that extra help, if that makes sense.
So yeah, so you think that they will still need some help with the life skills or some
Some
part of life
only,
skills, but they will be able to socialize though. They will be able
correct.
to socialize and get a job. Like, I mean, you have a job already, you have a full-time job, and I know many autistics myself who have a full-time job. They're even therapists, professional, like, and I think you were studying also speech therapy, or like, am I wrong? Or
Yeah, I'm actually starting up school next month to get my speech therapy license because I feel in doing something like this, I'm able to give back what was taught to me in my earlier years. I want to be able to learn what I had in the past and use those skills to really be there for not only parents but also others that like me and that are on the autism spectrum.
honestly, Martin, what I think personally, and I think many moms here today would share my opinion, like would be really breakthrough in the autistic community. Having autistic speech therapists. There is already, I know, there's quite few autistic speech therapists that I know of. But to be honest,
Mhm.
in UAE, we have none of the autistic speech therapists. I mean, having more autistics in the professional field, like in the behavior therapy, in the speech therapy or OT, will be really helpful because, like, I mean, you have gone through all this. You're still navigating the autism journey, and I'm sure you will be the best candidate to help our kids as well.
Right, right.
Martin, I think you have also kind of answered another question, because another mom was asking about her children, whether they can
Mhm.
socialize and make friends to avoid loneliness.
Yep.
So
Now I know the autism is still really not fully understood. And what I've actually been thinking of is for those who really don't know how to socialize with someone like us. I've actually been working and planning on releasing a video about not only ways to approach this, because there could be times where we're like super anxious and really don't want to talk to anybody,
yeah.
but also the best steps to to communicate with us. And for those who will probably tune in later, one way that I would say is ask like what our favorite subject is, or like what we like to talk about, and then we would be more able, or we would be able to excuse me, talk more and be able to socialize.
So it's easier, definitely. It's much easier for you to talk about the subject, your special interest, like soccer. I mean, definitely it would be easy for you to talk about soccer game or DJ music. So that's the advice for parents. Like, I mean, try to find out on a later stage, maybe the special interest of their kids, and try to maybe motivate them to talk more about it and to find their other kids who would share these special interests or interests. Martin, there could be, I think, neurotypicals as well who share the same interests. It's not about only the autistics. I mean, many people here can share the same interest with you, and they're even neurotypicals. So you just have to socialize and try to use your special interests in socializing. This is quite interesting, honestly, because I have read a lot about the special interest, but I never thought of it as a tool to socialize. So special interests turned out to be like a tool to socialize for the autistics.
Yep.
And Martin, this is my question. Actually, I wanted to ask you about the social cues. Like, we know autistics might be a little bit, it's difficult for them to understand the social cues, and especially the eye contact. We're talking about the eye contact, and some autistics, they like to stim. So can you tell me more about your experience, or what are your thoughts on this, the eye contact and stimming?
Yeah, so to me, sometimes it's easy for me to make eye contact, but most of the time I have difficulty, and it's hard to explain why, but the one thing I would say for those who have difficulty eye contact or with eye contact, not to force it, because it could cause them to be really, really anxious. And so just having them be themselves would be it would make them feel more comfortable. And when it comes to stimming, I do stim a lot. I mean, sometimes I pretend I'm a drummer in a rock show. Or like
I love the metaphor. I mean, drummer, it's nice.
Yeah, and then I actually pretend, or sometimes stimming actually helps with anxiety. And one of the stims I do is actually Latin dance. I learned Latin dance, and I know like salsa and tango and stuff like that, but the movement, it's one, not only is it a stim, but it also helps me calm down. And so
you can self-regulate while doing the stimming. I mean, like most of our kids do that, and we're trying, all the moms here, we're trying to learn more about the stimming and trying to accept the stimming as a part of our child, because we know that stimming, as you said, make them feel more comfortable, and it can reduce their anxiety. So yeah, of course, like there are maybe harmful, some self-injuries involved sometimes, so we can try to avoid them.
Right.
So,
and one thing that they could have is like maybe a squishy ball or something, or like either a squishy ball or something to help.
There's like the trend of spinners right now.
Right. And then that could kind of help avoid that.
Okay. So
now,
Martin, yeah, sorry. So just to sum it up for the parents here, and also the professionals, because we have few professionals with us as well, speech therapists. So basically forcing the eye contact will just cause more anxiety to the autistics, and stimming can help them a lot, and it can help our kids, and it will definitely, it can help them self-regulate and soothe themselves. So the more we suppress stimming, the more our kids will be more anxious, and it will have a negative impact on their mental health. Okay, just sorry, I was trying to sum it up for more the parents. So yeah, because Also, stimming is very controversial. Many moms
اسمع، بدي حدا يجيب، لا تجيب اوس يا جود لانه الاثنين بخلصوا على 12. ما انا فكرتك نايم يعني هلا اجي.
Excuse me. Sorry, I have to mute you guys. Okay, so Martin, the stimming and the eye contact. So thank you for sharing your experience and thoughts, because I think many moms would love to know more about that, because sometimes stimming, it's like ABA, you know, it's very controversial, because many moms, they don't like their kids to stim a lot, especially in public places, like in the school or in the malls.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah, some moms would feel embarrassed, or they just, you know, they'd like to have less stimming. But you're here today to tell us that the stimming is really good, because it helps them. So we don't have to do this. We don't have to suppress the stimming unless it's definitely harmful stimming. It's causing self-injury. So thank you for that, Martin.
I do like, sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanted to really quickly say, because it's fresh in my mind, when you brought up, you know, stimming in school, I think it is important, you know, for teachers to understand that stimming can help us, because we don't stim a full day in school. It's like the parents are the ones that feel the negative side effects from it, you know, after a long day. And it's like, if Mentos and Diet Coke kind of combine, you get that really combustible explosion, or like, and that's why I'm really advocating for teachers to not only allow us, but like just to teach them, like, hey, you know what, this is helping them stay calm and helping them focus. And I know it might be a distraction, but I really think it is important that we should be allowed to at least stim, so the parents don't have to deal with that really pent up anxiety.
Yeah, and the meltdowns, like, because like sometimes kids can avoid, or adults definitely can avoid the meltdowns by stimming, because stimming is a way to cope with the situations, especially maybe in social situations, right? I mean, as you said before, Martin, your anxiety is at its peak in social situations and interviews. I have read it in your book as well. Like while you're doing interviews, you deal with a lot of anxiety while doing job interviews.
Yeah.
So do you use stimming while doing job interviews to help you calm down?
I try. I mean, like the less obvious ones, you know, like, you know, doing like this, finger tapping. Like I've been doing this the whole time just to help keep my anxiety down, and it helps. But if the anxiety gets really bad, sometimes it takes a little more of a more visible stim to help.
Yeah. So Martin, we talked a lot about the anxiety, about the struggles of kids at school. So the main struggle that you have been through was the anxiety and the bullying. And talking about all this, I need to start, we will come up now to the masking. I think you have made many helpful videos to many parents, and you've explained a lot about masking. Many moms today and many professionals would love to know more about masking, because like we really need to know why autistics need to do masking, and how do you balance, as an autistic person, how do you balance between the masking and the unmasking? And if there's any pros and cons for the masking.
Right. So I will start with the pros and the cons. The pros for masking are you would be able to like be more helpful in a work setting or social setting.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're able to like be able to communicate with others. The downside about that is sometimes it could be a little difficult to mask depending on if somebody's really never masked before. And another problem would be masking can be pretty draining. I will admit there's times where I did a full day of masking and I'm just like worn out. My anxiety kind of kicked in, and it could be like that for others. And so it's like Jekyll and Hyde in a way, if that makes sense. So it's like good things and bad things about it.
And I love the analogy, Martin, about the Coke and the Mentos, the Diet Coke and the Mentos. Like when you said, like, it's like, you know, when you have the Diet Coke and the Mentos and there comes the volcano. So maybe we can relate this, we can use this analogy as well for the masking, because when there's a long day of masking on the, you know, it's just like, if you have been masking for so long, and then at the end of the day, maybe many autistics will have meltdowns, or maybe they will just reach a point where they will have a burnout, right?
Right.
How do you balance, like, for you as an autistic person, you just mentioned that sometimes you have to mask at work. So how do you make sure it will not really affect you mentally? Like, how do you make sure, like, okay, I need to stop now. I need to be like, I need to start unmasking so that, you know, I can, you know, to keep this balance for your sanity and for your mental health. How do you do that?
Right. So first, I did see a question here, what masking is. I will answer that really quick. So masking is a term that we in the autism community use to kind of make us look normal. And like for me right now, I'm masking because I just really want to do that the best that I can today. But another thing about masking is it could make us look normal, like there's nothing wrong with us, or other people won't see what's behind.
Almost like, so correct. Most of the autistics, they try to mask to fit in.
Correct. So masking is basically a way of fitting in.
Yeah. Okay. Because we have one question about the masking, so I hope you got the answer. Like, masking is just a way for the autistics to help them fit in, whether at work, whether in school. And, you know, Martin, I have noticed this even from my daughter. Like, she started recently to mask in school. Like, she's now almost 8, she's 8, and she's trying to mask all day at school. But when she's back home, as you said, like, I feel she's drained. I can feel it. She's drained. She's really tired. She doesn't want to talk. She doesn't want to socialize. She just wants to be alone and alone, you know? So I can feel it. I can feel it that she's been masking all day, and then she needs her break, you know? I have also one question about your coping mechanisms when things get overwhelming. I think we just mentioned this. It's about the stimming. You mentioned about music and stimming and many stuff. I think we got that that question answered. So Martin, about there are many autistics that are against the masking, and there are many, you know, different viewpoints in the autistic community. Some of them, they say that, you know, we don't want to mask. We just want to be who we are, and we don't need to mask. So, you know, to avoid the burnout and to avoid that mental pressure and the anxiety. So do you think that would work? I mean, in a society, in our ableist society, and we have to be, you know, realistic. Most of the society here, like, there's a lot of, you know, ableism around us, and there's a lot of stigma. So do you think autistics without masking, would they be able to get the job? Would they be able to fit in school or in college?
Yes, I really do believe so. And I think I think the most difficult times that would be like the first week or two at college or on a job, because it's new surrounding and you really don't know what to expect. But after that week, or maybe even 2 weeks, then you would start to be more comfortable. And once when people know about you, or know about you, then we could start seeing masking less often. You know, if autism was more fully understood, we wouldn't even need a mask.
Yeah, of course. And if I think the society was more acceptant and less ableist, you wouldn't need to mask, of course. But you know, the neurodiversity concept is, I think, just it has been there for a while, but it's still, but it just got the attention recently, unfortunately. So it's still somehow new to many parents, professionals. So I hope it will just be more widespread and things will change in the future. We have one question also, Martin, about the autism masking. That one mom said that usually masking, it requires cognitive ability to allow the autistics to do the masking. And she's saying that her son would not really get the concept. I think her son is a teenager boy. He's almost 14 or 15. So what do you, what are your thoughts on this?
Let's see. True. No, I would agree. I would agree. And I know with autism, no two people are the same. You know, when you meet one person with autism, that's just one person, and that could be the same thing with their masking.
Okay. So some autistic kids or some autistic adults, they can mask, while the others, they can't mask.
Yeah.
And I think, Martin, it's good to highlight here that the autism, it comes with a set of co-occurring conditions. So any cognitive disability or any other condition, it's not the symptom of autism, or it's not autism. It's actually a co-occurring condition with autism. So this is why maybe, as you said, like each autistic person is different, because there's a whole different sets of comorbidities, co-occurring conditions, and each person deals with them differently, and he has a different co-occurring conditions. Like some of them, they have gut issues, some of them, they have seizures, some of them, they have anxiety like you, and others, they have some cognitive disability. And I'm okay to say the word disability. I don't think it's a bad word, right, Martin? In the autistic
no, it's not. I mean, I know there are some that think it is, but for others, it's not. So it totally depends on the person, like who you're talking to.
Yeah. So basically, it's just a normal word. I think it's time we can normalize it, because it's okay to use it. And this is what the autistic community is trying to spread, like this sort of acceptance of disabilities. So yeah, you think that masking can be done by some particular autistics, but like I don't think everyone will be able to do it. So we can't expect our kids, all of them, they will be able to mask.
Right. It could be more difficult to, and so some of them aren't able to mask.
And I have one question here, Martin, about the schools. Like, do you recommend a specialist school that offers bespoke learning for children on the spectrum? And what's your thoughts and ideas about the sensory breaks, smaller class sizes, you know, trying to accommodate the classroom to fit more sensory needs of the kids? Or do you think the kids might be okay in a mainstream school with maybe some extra help?
So I think I remember I said it, but it all depends on the person. Like, I know it would be good to have a specialist school, because it would be easier for them to learn in like their own pace. Because mainstream, what I've noticed in mainstream, it's pretty difficult and really fast. And the problem is I never really got the help. And so, I mean, for some could do well in mainstream, others would need that extra help and have all the extra breaks needed in that specialist school.
Okay. So it's basically depend on the kids, on the child's needs, whether he can be coping in a mainstream school or in a special needs special school. Also, I want to ask you, Martin, about this. Like, do you think, do you have any suggestions or thoughts on how to help our kids thrive in school? Like, obviously, we are trying to provide them with the stimming tools, sensory breaks, but do you have any other suggestions for the kids, for our kids, to help them more, you know, thrive in school and, you know, cope with all these sensory the sensory struggles?
Right. I'm going to do the best that I can to answer. I mean, there's sometimes I have difficulty answering and explaining things, so I'll do the best that I can. But one way that could help is to not be afraid to ask for an extra break if it gets too overwhelming, because that extra break needed could be what it takes to, you know, get through the long school day, or like if there's anything with stimming, like a stress ball or something with you, or a fidget spinner, that can really help too. And during the lunch break, if there's like music you have, just put that on for maybe like a song or two, or even listen to white noise or something sensory that could really help. Yeah.
White noise doesn't help. Like, I know that when my kids were like younger, like when they were babies, actually, white noise used to really help them a lot. So do you think it would really work now with Stacey and with other kids her age, the white noise in school?
Definitely. I really do believe so. I mean, it depends on what they like, depending on, how do I explain this? It's easier for me, the white noise I like to listen to is like listening to the waves crash from the ocean, or like listening to a jet, as like almost like we're flying in a way.
Oh.
And so it's certain white noises that really help. And if there's something that they really like to listen to, that would be a really great coping mechanism.
Okay. So I think this would be on my list as well, because, you know, I've never tried it, honestly, the white noise thing. I know that she likes music. I know that many autistics, honestly, and young kids, they do like music. They like listening to music. So this could help them maybe in schools, but I've never tried it, honestly, myself. So I think it's good for all the moms here to, you know, to hear about that. And there's one question here, like, do you use any application for this white noise? Do you recommend any application?
So the one I use, if I could find it on here, it's called Calm.
Can we share it, please, on the chat box? That's okay with you?
Yeah. There is a couple others. That's somewhere on this phone, but let's see if I can find the one while we're chatting. Calm is really great, and some of it is also timed. So if you only need like maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
I think I have this one. Calm, yeah.
And then another one, I just found it, would be, it's called Better Sleep.
Better Sleep.
Let me see if I could find that. Yeah, Better Sleep. Because it plays really relaxing sounds. And one of the best ones for me, and what can be for others, is like rainfall. You know, listening to gentle rainfall can really help. And so those, I would recommend those two, Calm and Better Sleep.
Okay. Martin, there was also here one mom that she mentioned about the interview, like in her work, in her job, that they do interview autistics in Minecraft to help them avoid the pressure of verbal communication. So what are your thoughts on this? Like,
that is a really cool idea. And I really feel like if other companies
them,
could, right, if other companies could jump along and do something like that, have something more interactive where they're not feeling so much pressure, that's actually a really, really great idea.
So it will like reduce the anxiety and, you know, less social interaction, less responding to the social cues. So it's a good idea. You encourage this, like trying to interview people through Minecraft or maybe other ways.
Definitely, I totally agree.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So Martin, like we talk a lot about the struggles, about masking, anxiety, many topics were covered. So what do you think? What's your advice for the parents and for the professionals? How to help them bond more and improve their relationship with their autistic kids or their autistic patients as well? Sorry, I don't like the word patients, or autistic clients. So what are your thoughts on this? Like how to handle the meltdowns, like how to be more supportive?
I think one way that could really be or like, let's just say a kid likes, or one of your kids likes board games and they really, really like it, and doing something like that or going on hikes or anything for that matter can really build that rapport.
Okay, and I think Martin, like you've been in the journey of dealing with autistic kids, right? Like you had sessions with autistic kids, you helped many autistic kids and parents. And I have read in your book that, and I really like this part, where you used the guitar to play music for some kids to help them soothe down in your sessions.
Yeah, and I think, and I actually do. For some that are nonverbal, I use the different strings on the guitar, and they really understand. So if let's just say, how's your day going? If it's like a really high note, that'll be like they're really, really happy, or like kind of going down depending on how they feel. And a good way to communicate with nonverbals, what I've done is use a notebook. I kind of write, or I'd ask them something and then I would have them write it down.
Radio.
And so it's some of the best things. And I also added something new when I'm with them. I actually started learning ventriloquism. So I have for the younger kids, I have a doll with me and I pretend, or I speak through the doll, like in different voices to make it really fun.
Okay,
and
so
they really love it.
Martin, you've been also you're also like a behavior specialist, and then you do sessions with autistic kids as well, and then you teach them through the play therapy, right? So I think this is really interesting. We'd love to hear that as well, because like there's a lot of controversial topics about ABA. Before stepping in ABA, because I know it's a very controversial topic and there will be a lot of questions about it, I just had a question from a mom regarding like what are your suggestions and thoughts on how to explain autism to our kids? How do we approach this?
That's a good one. It really depends, because I know it's the biggest struggle to like know when the right time is. And I just think you will know when it's the right time to tell your kid. And I know it might be difficult for them to really understand or accept it, but when you tell your child, like, you're on the spectrum, you just got to comfort them and say, you know what, you're just like you're like everybody else. You're a really great person. You know, like comfort them.
Trying to normalize the talk, trying to make it like just a normal talk. Like, Martin, when did you learn about your autism? Like, when did you learn about, like, when did you find out that you're autistic?
I did about, this was after I said my first word. So I believe I was 5. And I went through Stanford University. It took like maybe 3 or 4 weeks to determine, but those initial times I really struggled to grasp it because I didn't understand. Right, I didn't understand, but you know, with having such a comforting, you know, family members there with me, it really, really helped. I mean, it did take a little bit of time, but you know, now here I am. I fully accepted it, and now I'm doing the best that I can for the parents of those who are like, I'm
struggling to accept their diagnosis,
yeah,
I guess.
right. And so I'm just letting them know, you know, I'm here for you. You know, you're not alone in this.
It's really nice, Martin. Thank you for this. I mean, yeah, you're right. I think maybe, like just you said, the most important thing in this journey is the support, like to be more supportive and acceptant and to support our kids. And also as moms, we need support. And what I really appreciate is that, Martin, there are many autistic adults. I have to say that. There are many autistic adults that they don't like really the moms, and you know, they just somehow try to attack moms in some groups, or you know, sorry, like I have to mention it because there are some advocacy platforms and groups, they try to attack moms, especially the advocate moms, you know, because they are non-autistic moms. So, but you're so different. Like, I mean, you're very supportive to the moms and to the parents in general. And even you have written in your book, and you have, no, sorry, in your podcasts, I have heard a lot of podcasts, and you have mentioned it several times that it's very difficult to raise us and that we are super moms. And that you know that mothers and parents are superheroes because they are raising us, because it's not easy to raise us. So I really like find it so comforting hearing those words from an autistic person. So thank you about that. Like, you gave us sort of hope and support by saying this.
Right. Yeah. And I actually have something written out. I stepped way out of my comfort zone and actually said a speech, which is on YouTube. And I actually have a segment here that I'd like to share for those who haven't heard it yet. And this has to do with, like, you know, poems for both moms and dads, because when you think about it, the fathers are really, I mean, we mostly support the mothers, but the fathers also need the support too. So
yeah, of course.
This is an excerpt from
Martin, sorry, can I just one more question before we
yeah, no worries.
We go to this segment, just
no worries.
regarding the ABA, because we just ran through it, but I know like it's a very you know, controversial topic, and so we just try to brief it a little bit. ABA has been so controversial. Obviously, many autistic adults, they are totally against ABA for many reasons related to their traumatic experiences and the history of ABA. So what are your thoughts on this? And do you have any ideas on how to make some reforms in the ABA therapy to make it maybe less controversial and more affirmative?
You know, I totally get how controversial it is. I mean, from what I've been reading, I've been on other Facebook groups, some of us do attack it because they hear like a story online or whatever, they haven't really experienced it themselves. And so it does get a little difficult, but I think if ABA was more play-based,
Play-based.
I think that would be really great. I mean, with what I do, I set up games, and let's just say three things that they need to work on the most. I incorporate that in the board game. So the first role, in order to get to the next part of the game board, they got to, just do this little thing. I mean, I don't push it. And that I
what
think
you're
that's
doing, Martin, is basically play therapy
Yeah.
sessions. Okay.
Correct. The most difficult part about ABA is, and I've experienced this, some of these therapists, they take it away, instead of like forcefully. And I feel if they learn
The
to not
punishment,
do that,
punishment and the reward, the system.
correct. And so
Pretty
I
much-
just feel if they
It's pretty
remove
much
that, it would be
everywhere,
so
the
much
ABA
better.
sessions.
Right. And so I just really hope that they remove that. And if they actually learned a new way to do things, it would be so much better, and there would be less controversy surrounding it.
Right. So maybe I think, like, to sum it up, like your suggestion to make the reforms in the ABA therapy, it's trying to change a little bit the coursework of ABA, rather than having it the old traditional way, the robotic way, I can say, sorry, like, because it's sort of robotic, like with the punishment and rewarding and trying to suppress stimming and all the traditional coursework. So what you're suggesting is trying to make it more play therapy based, more affirmative.
Right.
And you use guitar in the sessions, as you said, and the dolls and the pretend play and all of this, you use them in your sessions.
Yep.
That's
and there's
really
actually
nice.
one more thing I do. So let's just say one of my clients likes Dora the Explorer.
Okay.
And so there's like, the show is kind of like there's like 3 different areas on the map to get to the final destination. And so how I do it is I start off with like maybe the least important thing that they need to work on. I was like, okay, in order to get here, we got to do this or whatever. I kind of make it more like we're in the TV show in a way.
Okay, so you use also the special interests of the kids. Sometimes you're like, that's really nice. Like using for today, honestly, myself, I have learned 2 things: that the special interest, you can use them to socialize, and that even your special interest, you can be using them during your therapy sessions as well. So this is really interesting to know. Thank you, Martin. And I have one more question about the DIR, floor time therapy. What do you think about it?
I will admit, I've never really heard about it. I will admit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's fine. Okay. So I think it's just another way, maybe, of it's all into the under the umbrella of the play therapy. Like, I don't even know a lot about it because I haven't tried it with my daughter, but like I know that it somehow should be under the umbrella of the play therapy sessions that you're talking about. So just your final word for the professionals working in the ABA field, Martin. So what do you would just like to tell them, for all the professionals working in the ABA field?
Learn, or I'm trying to make it not sound so harsh, or like, I'll do my best to say this. Learn things in a more unorthodox way. Try different approaches, more play-based, less robotic. And there's actually some people on the spectrum that are in ABA, and if they just talk to them, figure like, hey, what's one way to do this? And so just kind of learning from others. I just feel that is the most important thing in order for ABA to improve.
Yeah. So less robotic, more play therapy, more affirmative approach. And I think, you know, honestly, I would tell you, in Dubai here and in UAE in general, there are many therapists that are converting into the affirmative therapy. They're trying more the play-based, as you said, play-based approach rather than the robotic approach. So this is, I think, a step forward in the ABA therapy, and it's a step forward for our kids as well, you know. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So thank you for having all your insights. This has really been helpful and insightful. And so what's your last message for the parents here and the lovely poems you have?
Yeah, so this is kind of halfway through the speech that I wrote. I will do my best to go a little quick. I mean, what I've been told is there has been a lot of tears shed from parents for hearing this, because it's almost like it's just the encouragement that they've been needing all this time. And so I do have right here part of my excerpt, and it goes, parents, I know how difficult it can be to raise someone like us, and I know there are times when you want to throw in the towel. However, with your encouragement and support from me and others like myself, you will be able to fight through this. To us, you are our capeless superheroes, fighting to help make the world a better and safer place for us. Keep up the fight, even when it seems like the light at the end of the tunnel seems far away and these roadblocks keep you from reaching it. I know that even though we have a tough time saying it and explaining, we thank you, superheroes, for your continued fight and effort to help bring acceptance, being there for us at our most difficult and vulnerable time. You can help bring understanding to those who don't know autism that well. And so I have some poems. This is a poem from the autism perspective. Here I am, locked inside my own little world. You think I don't listen, but I hear every word. Sometimes I get frustrated because you don't understand. It's not my fault. It's the way I am. I wish I could say what I want to say, but I am autistic, so that kind of gets in the way. For those who don't know me, they probably think I'm out of control, even if they could play my role. There are lots of others who feel the same, a constant battle, a losing game. For those who look after me, it's 2 steps forward, but 10 steps back. Will they ever get the answers they lack? Family and friends try their best, but they're exhausted and desperate need of rest. Someday, I hope they find the key to unlock the hidden peace deep within me. And so, mothers, I do have a quote that I found that I really, really feel can be the quote you need to help with all the difficult days. Autism moms, on the days you feel your worst, remember that you are beautiful. On the days you feel like you don't know what you're doing, know that you are brilliant. On the days you feel exhausted and can't go any further, look back and see how far you have come. On the days you feel you can't handle another battle, look at all the scars and be proud of the ones you've won. On the days you feel alone, know that you never are. And this very last one, I feel like the dads need to hear this, because there's not a whole lot of support for autism dads. To all of you who go to work on very little sleep to support your family, to all of you who come home after a hard day at work, but who first hug your partner because you know they may have had a harder day than you. To all of you who take your turn with the household chores, to all of you that attend many of your child's appointments as you can. To all of you who love and accept your child as they are. To all of you who have yet to hear your child call you daddy. To all of you that are lucky enough to hear it. To all of you that long for a hug from your child. To all of you that are lucky enough to get that hug. And to all of you that may have cried silent tears when no one was watching. To all of you that celebrate and rejoice in your child's achievements, no matter how small they may have seemed. To all of those who fight for your child to get the support they deserve and fighting for acceptance. To all of you that are your partner's rock. And for all of those, or all of you that are sometimes forgotten about. To all of you that are doing all this on your own as a single dad, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts with love, your children and autism mothers. Yeah, I'd like to say this quote that this can help everyone. These quotes have really, really helped me. Just thinking about it makes me want to tear up a bit. It's like, it's been such a long road, but these quotes will make sense. And this first one is from Victor Hugo. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Because I know
It's my favorite.
Yeah. It may seem like you're at a really, really dark night where there's no stars to guide, but someday soon that sun will rise and there will be brighter days ahead. And this last one, I'm sorry that I keep on taking, or that I'm going long, but this one is the icing on the cake. An arrow can only be shot by being pulled back. When life is dragging you back with difficulties, it means it's going to launch you into something greater. So just hold on and keep aiming. So I'm going to end it with that.
My God, Martin, I think we all got emotional.
Oh man,
we're all lost for words, and I think on the behalf of all the moms and professionals attending this session today, I just want to thank you, really. I want to thank you wholeheartedly. This is really have been like insightful, fruitful, and also emotional at the end.
Yeah.
So, like, I think we have like, it was a roller coaster, like from learning, and then at the end it's emotional. And thank you for all these lovely poems. I'm not sure if you would like to share one of them with us. That would be really great.
Yes, I will share the arrow one.
Okay, that would be really great. Like, I mean, your words are like, I don't know, like I'm lost for words. I'm too emotional even to explain, but I'm sure everyone would love to read them again, especially in our dark moments. So because this is like so inspiring and give us a lot of hope. Your words, your story, and even your journey is so inspiring, and it gives us a lot of hope. And I want to thank you for taking time to prepare these motivational quotes and poems. And I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I know you're overloaded. You have you have a full-time job, you're preparing a new book, and you have also a lot of things to do. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I hope this won't be our last Zoom session. I hope we will be doing more in the upcoming future. And I don't know if any mom would love to say anything. I think we can just unmute, and we can just say, if any one of you would like to unmute and talk directly to Martin, just to say like a goodbye message.
Hi, Martin. Thank you so much. It was an honor to speak to you. You make us cry at the end.
I've been known to do that. I've been known to do that. I mean,
But thank you
it's
so much
just-
for your perspective. It's like a diamond for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi,
I appreciate
Martin.
it.
Thank you so much. You are just so amazing. And you made us cry.
I just felt that ending right there. I just felt it in my
Yeah.
heart to really, I think telling this can really, really, it's hard to explain. I just really felt the need to share that with everyone. And, you know, you all are amazing.
Thank
And
you so
even though, yeah,
you touched our heart and we felt your heart.
Thank
And just sending you a lot of love and a mess.
thank you. I really do appreciate it. I just,
Sorry.
you know, no, it's totally fine. You know, I know there might be days where it's difficult, but you know, you just look at all the battles you've won and just know that, you know, you're, to all you mothers, you all are like diamonds, you know, like that shine bright and help lead us on the with autism, kind of like that light that leads us into greater days. And so, you know, just keep up the good fight and know that you're not alone.
We're never alone, Martin, and we need more people like you, honestly, in the autistic community. Like I'm really out of words, but I wish there are more self-advocates like you, Martin, because like you're so receptive, you're so open-minded, and you're so compassionate, and you debunk all the myths about autistics being, you know, they don't empathize or they don't show emotions. But you are a proof that autistics are really compassionate and they do have a lot of empathy. And I don't know what to say more. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope we can do another session soon.
Definitely.
When your schedule is free, and maybe.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the luck in your new projects, in the next book, and I'll be looking forward to get your new book. Like
Thank you.
I'm already like, I think I will be having another like round with the chatterbox. Like I'm done with it, but I think I will just have another, like, I will read it again, and I'm looking forward to your new book.
Thank you. I will give you a quick hint about it.
Okay.
The world as I see it. That'll just be the hint that I give. So it's going to be more photography based, but I'm not going to get into too much. I'm actually planning on traveling to different places to get more photos and finally complete it.
Wow, so you will be just also using your photography hobby and special interest in the book. Perfect,
Yep.
Perfect. We'd love to see more of your photos. Like I know from your Instagram account, I have noticed that you take a really good shots, like nature or even the soccer games, like they're professional shots. So I'm sure you will do great. You will take.
Do you have the link to put in the chat for the group?
The Instagram?
Oh no, I got the Instagram, but the link to Chatterbox, because I know my site's different.
Okay, let me just, sorry, 1 minute. It's on Amazon. I don't think I have the link right now, but I can, because I don't have the Amazon application on my laptop here, but I will just be sharing it later on the groups, on all the support groups. I will share. I have already shared it earlier, by the way. Most of the support groups, they already have the link on Amazon. It's on Amazon US. So do you have any other way to purchase it other than Amazon?
I'm working on that. I am working on that.
Okay.
Wow,
For now, all the moms can find the chatterbox on the Amazon US. Amazon US. It's available. I will share the links also with the support group soon.
Watching this autism
So thank you.
Zoom thing. Claire sent me the details on.
Martin. Thank you for this lovely session, and looking forward for the next one.
Definitely. Thank you.
Everyone.
It was a pleasure being here, and I really hope that from what you've heard, it helps you, like it was that boost of energy or confidence needed to be able to keep on pushing forward.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Martin. Thank you, everyone. So we just tried to end the Zoom session. It's recorded. So whoever missed the session, hopefully I'll be able to send the recording. And I think I'll be sending the recording to all. Martin, if you can also upload it on your YouTube channel, that would be great.
I will definitely try, because I know since it's on your end, you would have to ascend it somehow, but I will look up. Perfect. You know,
I'll send it to you.
You're a really, really good host. It is like, I know there were some questions I had a tough time answering, but like the questions you asked were just like amazing.
I'm just trying to learn here. Honestly, like you were an inspiration for me, like you and many other autistic self-advocates. Like I've learned a lot, and I've even unlearned a lot from you, because like there were many myths and misconceptions that I was holding on to. And you helped me a lot, even as an autistic community, to come to terms with my daughter's acceptance, because I've struggled a lot even with her acceptance. So I want to thank you. Like I want to thank the whole autistic community and the neurodiversity movement as well. So thank you everyone. So we will just end the meeting now. Bye. See you later, Martin. Bye. See you. Bye.
Bye. Yep.